On your left.
On my left. Got it. Don't say it. Don't you say
On
it.
your left.
Come on!
What's up, guys? It's Quinn. It's Iconic Comic, and we're back with the On Your Left podcast, episode 16. Originally, I was going to do our new podcast. I'm still bouncing around the names for it, but I was originally going to do that one first, but I decided that I feel like this would be a better first return podcast, just to kind of get back into the swing of things, talk to you guys, tell you guys everything that's going on, and otherwise just kind of throw out some opinions about things and just kind of talk, because the other podcast is a little bit more it's going to be a little bit more, this is what we're talking about specifically this week, while this podcast has always been kind of off the cuff, which is what I like to do a lot. So to start things off, I did want to just kind of talk about the channel a little bit more, what my goals are for it going forward. But I've kind of dropped some posts and some stuff in some live chats, but I thought I would just kind of talk through everything real quick here, and then we'll move on from that. So I'll get through that as quickly as possible. Basically, I would love to get this channel by the end of 2020 back to where it was, where we left off. And not meaning subscribers, but, active subscribers, because we still have a lot of subscribers. We're still over 23,000, which is about where we left off. But I want to get back to the point where, we drop a video and boom, it's got X number of views because we got a bunch of active subscribers. I think a lot of people have, kind of dropped off of being notification squad, and that makes sense when we didn't upload for quite a while. So that's kind of what my goal is for the year, is to get back to a point where we're getting back to consistent active subscribers, and that's just going to come from us or me, whoever's on the channel, uploading content each week. And the way content is going to work right now is obviously we're going to have a podcast like we're doing right now. Reactions are going to come more as the year goes on. The tough part right now with reactions is there's not a ton of stuff to react to. There's not really a lot of movies and trailers dropping right now. So there's not a lot of stuff to react to. And I don't want to, sit down right now and react to a bunch of random videos, just because I don't think that's really what's going to get any traction right now. And that takes up a lot of time to do the reaction videos. But as stuff keeps coming out, and by the end of the year, it'll be more consistent with the reaction videos. And then gaming is going to be the gaming and live streams is kind of what I want to focus on right now, because it's a fun way to interact with you guys. I love to game, obviously. There's a lot of cool games coming out, especially like Halo Infinite. We're doing our road to Halo Infinite right now. So there's a lot of things that we can do with gaming, and I can do it on YouTube and I can do it on Twitch, and I'm trying to kind of do both. I want to start doing gaming live on Twitch and then posting it to YouTube, just because I feel like Twitch, I have a better stream quality. So I tried that last night. It seemed to work out well. But yeah, I that's kind of the focus right now, is kind of gaming, podcasting, and then the reaction videos will come more as the year goes on, and hopefully more content comes out. Now, the other things that I would really like to do is get back to doing movie commentaries and stuff like that. And again, those things they're really fun, and they've actually they have gotten a lot of traction on the channel that I was never expecting. But they are also a lot of work. So it's a tough balance to not put in, obviously you're watching a movie. That's not really the work part, but you're talking throughout the movie. So like say 2.5 hours, and then editing the audio and the visuals, and then rendering the clip and uploading it. I mean, it's a full day process with all the other things other than the movie, and to put all that effort in and it not get a lot of traction, it's not the funnest thing in the world, but that does not mean that's not what I want to do. So those are things to look forward to on the horizon. I just wanted to get that out of the way at the beginning of the podcast. And yeah, so I wasn't really sure what to talk about because, like I said, we've been such a content drought lately when it comes to Marvel and DC and Star Wars. I mean, obviously we had, well, I was going to say we just had Rise of Skywalker, but that was 8 months ago. And man, 2020, as sucky as it's been, I guess it is moving pretty quickly, so that's good. Yeah, it's been a crazy year, man. When all this stuff went down in March, I mean, I don't think anybody knew what to expect, and I'm not going to get into, the stuff about coronavirus or anything political on this, this channel. I'm not going to get into that at all. It just, it was tough. It's still tough. We're still trying to figure out a new normal. And what also comes with that is kind of getting rid of, I love how I'm coughing when I start talking about COVID. I don't have COVID. But I think getting back to that new normal, I'm kind of worried about. I'm worried about movie theaters. Movie theaters are kind of my baby. They're my safe space. Sorry, taking a little sip there. They're kind of my safe space when it comes to, where I like to hang out and stuff. Going to the movies was always a very ritualistic thing for me. I had my specific seat I like to go sit in, my specific theaters I like to go to, my movie snacks. It was all kind of like a very ritualistic thing. And it made me feel at home when I went to the movies. And I'm a little nervous that after everything that's happened, obviously with, coronavirus and everything, and, the way you see sports going on right now without fans, I mean, who knows how long everything's going to last, but it just worries me about the theater industry because, these major league sports, sorry folks, I just want to get this out of my throat real fast. There we go. Whew. All right. So that just something caught my throat. That was going to be annoying for a while if I didn't do that. So all these major league sports can survive, a decent amount of time without fans or maybe without even playing. They have TV contracts. They have tons of money as it is. The theater industry, however, when you're not getting anybody in the door and you're doing zero business for 5 months now, and we'll see how long that lasts, but you're doing zero business right now, at least in the United States. Man, I don't know how long that can last. But not even how long it can last money-wise, do we go back to the way it was before? I'm starting to wonder if we'll ever go back to the way things were before, period. And that comes with restaurants, sports, movies. I don't know if we'll ever go back to the same way. I hope so. I really do. I hope it's soon. But I just don't know. Sorry if I'm doing a lot of ums. It's been a while since I've done a podcast, so I'm trying to get the ums out. So yeah, I don't know if we'll ever actually get back to that spot. Hopefully we do. And, because there's a lot of movies coming out. Well, there were supposed to be a lot of movies coming out, and then we ended up not getting them. And Disney Plus is the first service to actually create what I think is going to be a new trend in the movie industry. They are releasing Mulan, which was supposed to come out back in, I believe April. Might have been March. One of the two, March or April. But it's supposed to come out a while back. And I I believe they're charging $30 for it on Disney Plus to rent when it comes out. And then probably eventually in a couple months, it'll just be on Disney Plus if you have Disney Plus. And it'll also be available for like DVD purchase if you wanted to do that and you didn't have Disney Plus. That's what I'm assuming. Don't quote me on that. But that's what I think is going to end up happening. But I think that's going to be a trend that actually continues even if we get back to a sort of normal. Who knows what that normal will be, but I think that's what will end up happening. I think a lot of these theaters are starting to realize that, not theaters, studios are starting to realize that the theater, this whole virus thing might have just scared people away from the theater forever. Just not the diehard fans, but like just the everyday consumer. And those are the people that make the theaters and the studios money, are the everyday consumers. It's not our day one A1 fans that stay up all night watching MCU movies and go to the theater at midnight and yada yada yada. They're not the ones that you got to worry about. You got to worry about your everyday fans that are making money throughout the week for you, going to the theater and stuff like that, and who maybe only get to see one movie a month and they have to pick and choose, that kind of thing. So I think those are the consumers that they're worried about, and I think that it's not a bad plan where you can still make money at the theater with, these theater chains or whatever, but also semi-release, maybe not at the same time as release, but maybe just a couple weeks after, release a rental version of the movie for a premium cost. So basically the cost of, like, say, a couple movie tickets, $30, like 2 movie tickets. And it's just a rent. So if they wanted to watch it again, they have to rent it again, just like one of the movies. So really it doesn't change anything about pricing so much as it does ease of mind for consumers that are worried about going out in public or anything like that. So I think that might be something that we're leaning towards very soon. I don't know how soon that is. But again, the theater is my safe space. It's my baby. I love going to the theater. There's nothing I love more than when the lights go down, I'm in the theater, and it's loud. Like, I could not imagine watching Avengers Endgame not in the theater for the first time. I could not imagine watching it on my TV at home. I got a nice TV at home. I don't want to watch Avengers Endgame the first time there. I'm fine with watching it there now, but the first time, F off with that noise. No thank you. Yeah, there's just something, and I think there's a lot of people who don't understand it. And that's fine. And they're not wrong. It's a subjective thing, and what you prefer, how do you prefer to watch movies. I know a lot of people who are like, I'll see something on Facebook or whatever, and I don't know exactly what brings it up, but people will complain about movie theater prices, and then they'll just be like, well, I'm fine with just sitting at home and watching this movie. It's the same experience here. To which I say, no, it fucking isn't. It's not the same experience. But you might enjoy that experience better. But I will disagree that it's the same experience. Sound, picture quality, the ambiance of it all. So I will disagree on that part with them. It's subjective to however you feel about what's your preference on where you watch a movie. But I think that, what was my point? I had a point. The movie theater. Like, I think there's a lot of people who are okay with watching it at home. The only problem is once we get to that point where, say, they're going to offer a premium rental a couple weeks into release to make up for any losses, that is a tough deal to work out with the studios and the movie theaters, like, together, to work that out. Because as soon as that rental becomes available, you are cutting a huge chunk of the audience away from the movie theater. You have a huge chunk of that audience that might have stayed at home and watched it if it was available to them. But if the only way they could have watched it for 4 or 5 months, and say it's a big movie like Avengers Endgame, and the only way you're going to be able to watch it for 3, 4 months, 5 months, whatever, is at the theater, you cannot watch it at home, other than some crappy bootleg copy that you might have found. The only way that you're going to watch it is to go to the theater. And as soon as you say, here's another option, I feel like you're going to get a lot of people who just don't go to the theater anymore. And you'd have to work out some crazy good deal where you either give theaters a bigger share of ticket revenue in the beginning, or they get a share of the premium rental revenue, or even it has to be a certain amount of time that the theaters agree upon before that premium rental is available. Like once the movie's kind of past its theater relevancy, then it can be on the premium rental, which is even earlier than it would be for the DVD. So it's kind of like you got point A is the theater, point B is the premium rental, and point C is the DVD or full digital copy of it. So I would not want to be in those dealings and trying to figure out the logistics of that, because because every way I put it right now, it just does not sound good for the movie theaters. Like everything. Because these studios are going to have to make back their money, man. These studios are going to have to make back their money. So if they can find a way to do that, I'm guaranteeing you they're going to undercut the theaters, and they're going to say, I mean, obviously it's their business. It's not like it's an evil thing to do, but the movie studio industry and the movie theater industry, it kind of work in tandem with each other, even though they're two separate entities. It's really weird. It's like both businesses are kind of, they're dependent on each other. But one of the studios it's like saying, I'm trying to put it in a good analogy. So you got it's like you got Tyson Chicken, who, like the chicken farms, let's say the chicken farms are the movie studios, and like Tyson Chicken, like who makes like the actual like food, like the frozen foods and everything, and the prepackaged stuff, they're the movie theaters. They're the distributors, and the chicken farm or the movie studio, they are the producers. If you can take one of those out of the equation and be fine without the other, and I'm telling you, it's not taking the movie studio out of the equation. If you take the movie theater out of the equation, the movie studio will just become its own distributor, or it'll find a new distributor, Netflix or whatever it needs to do. It will, the producer, the chicken farm, it'll find a way to get its product out there. The movie theater right now is the most convenient way to do that, but times change. And the movie theater business has been around for a very, very long time, and I'm starting to worry that 2020, as much shit as 2020 has caused, I was not expecting it to be the death of the movie theater industry, and I hope it's not. But only time will really tell about that one, and we'll see what happens. I hope and pray that they can come to some agreement, whether that means, splitting up the ticket shares, like the ticket price shares differently to kind of help out the movie theaters. But again, they're separate businesses. They don't have to help them at all. And I don't know if the movie theater business is a big enough business to get a government bailout. I doubt it. Well, not big enough is the wrong word. Important to our economy type business. And again, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but airlines are essential. So if the airlines need bailed out, I think that's okay. I would even say hotels are essential. I think hotels are essential. If you're going to have airlines, and those are essential for travel and business and everything, hotels are definitely essential also. Like hotels can be bailed out. You get to stuff like casinos and things like that. I don't necessarily think those need to be bailed out. Things like that. It's a tough line to draw. But movie theaters, they're not essential. They're not essential to life. Are they great? Yes, they're my favorite thing in the world. But they're not really essential to life. We would live on without them. We have for 5 months now. It sucks, and I wish I could go to the movies, but we can't right now. So, oh well. The other part of it is, streaming services. There's so many now. And I still say, for the most part, if you cut cable, cut your cord, satellite, whatever you have, and you get all of the streaming services, I guarantee you it's either equal or cheaper to what you had before. And you got more content. So there's, right now the thing that's saving cable and satellite are sports. And I don't disagree that those are, important. But if they didn't have sports and TV rights to sports like ESPN and Fox Sports and things like that, if they didn't have those, oh boy. DirecTV, all these Time Warner Cable, all these TV companies, they'd be dead. They'd just be dead in the water because they're charging ridiculous amounts because a lot of people are cutting the cord, and that just means the prices are going to keep going up the more people that cut the cord and drop them because they need to make their money. So these streaming services are going to get real interesting real soon. Do they stay relatively cheap for what they're giving you? I know Netflix the past couple years has kept raising its prices every year. I'm not necessarily super mad at that or anything, but it just begs the question, how long can these streaming services do their thing until they eventually have to raise the price from, $8 a month or whatever they're charging? Now, Netflix kind of dug their own grave slightly. Not fully, but slightly, because they're making a lot of original content. Like, a lot. Sometimes I'll open up Netflix and I'll be like, holy shit, like, how many original shows and original movies does Netflix actually have? And it's so many, and it's mostly not good stuff either. They're not all Daredevils. They're not all The Punisher. They're not all Stranger Things. But they're putting a lot of money into these original shows and movies and stuff. And some of them have worked out great. And most of those big ones, like Stranger Things and Daredevil and The Irishman and all that other stuff, most of those have probably made up for what they lost on, everything else. Because when those big ones come out, I'm sure they see a huge spike in memberships, and it ends up paying off. So right now, I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to check real fast how much Netflix is a month for a new subscriber. Let's see. How much is Netflix for a month? Most basic plan, well, let's see. This is back 2019. So the basic plan is, I think, $12.99. And the premium plan is $15.99. I think that just has to do with how many people that you want to have watching. Now, let's see how many Netflix subscribers are there. 182.8 million. So if we do that math, let's just say everybody had the basic package just to save. So 182.8 million. They're making per month $2.3 billion. That's insane. Now, I'm sure a lot of that is expenses, paying employees, going towards these projects that they're doing, these movies and TV shows that they're doing originally on Netflix. But times 12. For a year, that is $28.5 billion. 28.49 technically, but $28.5 billion. So Netflix is doing fine. Disney Plus is still only charging $6.99 a month for Disney Plus. If you want to do the bundle, I think it's $12.99 for ESPN and Hulu. But they're doing $6.99 a month right now. I'm curious on how long that's going to last. Because, man, you can make that last for a while, and then all of a sudden, just like Netflix fell into, because Netflix had to raise their prices, just like Netflix fell into, if you're going to make your own original content, and you're going to be a big, big player in the streaming service, you're going to have to dish out some cash. Now, Disney Plus has a little bit of a better scenario right now, because the problem that Netflix has, and some of these other streaming services too, is that they have to buy the rights to show a lot of these TV shows and movies that aren't theirs. Disney doesn't have to do that. Now, they did for one price, but it's theirs now forever. They bought Fox, and obviously they own all their properties. So they don't have to pay any yearly or contractual obligations to another company to show stuff on their platform. And I don't think they ever will either. I don't think you'll ever see like The Office on Disney Plus. I think you will only see Disney and Fox products, and then whatever they acquire going down the road. So, honestly, now that I think about it, Disney kind of has the perfect streaming service. Now, do they have the most popular stuff? Not really. Not yet. They have a lot of the most popular stuff. They have all the Star Wars, all the Marvel. They got The Mandalorian, which is super popular. They're coming out with all these Marvel shows. They're coming out with all these Star Wars shows. They're coming out with Disney originals. They got a lot of popular stuff. I mean, they don't have Game of Thrones. They don't have The Office. They don't have Friends. They don't have these big, just kind of cult following shows. Like, now they do have The Simpsons, which is a big one. But, you know, they don't have the most popular stuff, but they have a lot of popular stuff. And they don't need to spend excess money. So they might be able to stick with their price plan. Now, will it go up eventually? I'm sure it will. I mean, that's just how businesses work. You got to make money. You got to make more money at some point. So I'm sure at some point the price will go up. But I don't think it will for a while. And they also did a pretty baller move saying they were done with free trials. Or I don't know if they're done with them now or they're going to be done with them soon. But they're just going to get rid of free trials. It's like you pay for it or you're not watching. Like, you're either in or you're out, which I think is super smart. Another thing they're super smart about is they completely went opposite of the Netflix route, where they take a show that they made originally or whatever, and Netflix just drops the whole goddamn thing at once. You want Stranger Things 3? Well, here you go. Here is 9 hours of it. Enjoy. Disney said, no. We're going to have exclusive shows like The Mandalorian and these Marvel shows coming out. But it's going to be like old school TV. One episode comes out a week. And you're going to have to wait till the next week to watch it. Now, a season will probably last 2 months maybe. So they're going to get at least... So what that does is it basically guarantees that they're going to get 2 months of payment out of you if you wanted to just buy it and then drop it. But getting rid of the free trial thing, even if they did happen to just do it when the season all came out already, so like the last episode came out, they couldn't just buy a 10-day free trial, watch it all, and then cancel it. They would still have to pay for at least a month. So... is, evil as people want to call Disney and all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. I mean, in the long run, I just think they're they got the smartest businessmen working for them, smartest businessmen and women that, like, in the entertainment industry. I mean, they have it all figured out. Like, the pricing, the steps to take. I don't think they've made a wrong move in any regard like that so far. Speaking of which, a lot of these Marvel shows coming out, hopefully. I'm super excited if they actually come out. Falcon Winter Soldier. I think that show it's going to be the Winter Soldier. It's going to be like the Captain America Winter Soldier type feels again. I feel like it's going to have that kind of political thriller, espionage, kind of almost like a spy movie, kind of undercover thing going on. Plus, you kind of mix in a little kind of a buddy cop thing going on with Winter Soldier and Falcon. Maybe a little Lethal Weapon action going there. So, I think that show is going to be just fantastic. Everything I've heard so far, I mean, they didn't get to film a ton, but everything was going great. They said the writing, what I was reading is that the writing is so clean. It's fantastic. I am stoked for it. You got a lot of new players coming in. And you got some old players too. So you got Zemo back, which I'm super interested. Like, is Zemo, like, what is his motive? Because is he still mad about his daughter and his wife? Or sorry, not his daughter. I think it was his son. His son and his wife dying in Sokovia or outside of Sokovia after Avengers 2? Is he still mad about that? Is that his end game? Is he still just trying to get past the Avengers? I wonder if he's actually going to acknowledge what the Avengers did. They saved the universe. Like, I wonder. That character is going to be so interesting to me on how they maneuver around it and how they play that one out. So I'm very interested to see what we get out of Zemo. The other part is Captain America. Is Falcon actually going to become Captain America? Or because Anthony Mackie has said some things where he's like, I'm not Captain America, I just kind of picked up the mantle, like as in the shield and stuff. I'm still Falcon, but I kind of got a new, I got the shield now, basically. Or was that just words, and he will be known as Captain America? Maybe this show, because it's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Is this show going to be kind of like how Daredevil Season 1 was, the process of him going from A to B, Falcon to Captain America by the end of it? Or is he just going to be normal? Or by the end of it, does he decide that Bucky should be Captain America? Like, there's a lot of possibilities with this show. And I'm down for any way they want to take it. The next one would be WandaVision. I almost called it Scarlet Witch and the Vision. But WandaVision. That is my most anticipated of the new Marvel shows. That show has the opportunity to be something magical, no pun intended, that we have never seen before. Because what I've been reading is that it's going to, like, the first half of the series is going to be like this 50s comedy, like an I Love Lucy kind of deal. And then, like, the second half, it just takes this turn where it turns into this big MCU crazy epic thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds incredible. Because it just sounds weird and different. That's what I'm kind of looking for. So I really also think that they're going to have a big tie-in somehow to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Because Scarlet Witch is already confirmed to be in that movie. She's already confirmed to be in the Multiverse of Madness. I'll just put it on record now. I think the last episode of WandaVision, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I think the last episode of WandaVision will have Dr. Stephen Strange in it. In some capacity. I don't know how, where, when, but mark it down right now. That's my prediction. I think the last episode is going to have him in it. Like, I don't know if it's like whatever she's been doing to create this vision, no pun intended, this vision of this happy life where she's got, Vision back to life and kids and stuff, but it's all fake, like House of M stuff. Whatever she did to do that and pull that off, she ended up creating like some nasty alternate realities and stuff, and opened up the multiverse. And does that lead into Fantastic Four and X-Men? Man, who knows? But God, am I so excited for that show. That show is going to be legendary, in my opinion. I am just beyond excited. And then, sorry, that was a dog. And then you have these characters that are going to be in WandaVision that I'm super like, why are they there? But I'm not mad. I'm excited to find out why they're there. You have Darcy from Thor 1 and 2 coming back. You have, I think it was Agent Wu from Ant-Man and the Wasp coming back. And then you also have... Shh. Sorry, it's a dog. You also have Lieutenant Trouble, Monica Rambeau from Captain Marvel, but all grown up. What? What? Why? How? Why does that come into play? So I'm super stoked about WandaVision. I think that's going to be freaking incredible. And then we have, after WandaVision, we have the Loki show. Now, the Loki show, apparently it's going to have 6 episodes. Each one's going to be like an hour to an hour and a half. We left off with Loki, the most current version, in Endgame. Him taking the Tesseract and teleporting off. And that's all we know. But what they said in the kind of preview for the Loki show is this is the first time we're seeing Loki on his back foot. Loki's always the guy who's one step ahead of everybody, but this is the first time he's been on his back foot, and he has no idea where he is, where he's going. I'm super intrigued about that, because there's so many possibilities, because he's still in that reality. He's in that reality where Thanos is still alive in that reality that he took the Tesseract. Thanos is still there, probably looking for him. So Loki's going to be on the run. I mean, all the Avengers are still in play back then. Like, is he going to be on the run kind of show? I have no idea what that show is going to be. That's the one show where I don't have any clue where they're going, because there's not too many. There's so many possibilities, because they're back in 2012 and everything is basically how it was right after the Avengers movie ended, the first one, except Loki escaped and he got the Tesseract. What does Earth look like right now? Is Earth okay? Like, I know that, he's got the Tesseract, which is just kind of get me out of there. And I know that they shut the portal, so, I mean, New York is fine and whatever right now. The battle was won, but, like, I feel like there's so many ways they can go. Now, obviously, it's Loki focused, even though I would love to see other parts of the universe if Loki took the Tesseract at the end of the Avengers and got away. I would love to see other parts of the universe. Like, is the world pissed at the Avengers right now? Because at the end of the Avengers, the world loved them because they saved the world. Well, they saved the world, but they let the biggest weapon that Loki had get away. So, gosh, I don't know, man. I don't know. That one is my biggest curiosity. It's piqued my curiosity the most, because there's just so many ways they can go with it, and it's changing that's the first thing to kind of change the timeline and show us something from a different angle. So I'm super stoked for that one as well. And then we have the What If series, which, heck yeah, animated series. They had a What If comic series, but this is going to be an animated series where they go through the MCU movies and fundamentally change something about each one. At least that's what they said. So I'm wondering, are they going to have, like, okay, I'm just reading this right now. It says number of episodes confirmed is 23. So they are they are doing all 23 MCU movies and changing something about them. That is super. Now, it's not each episode's not going to be 2 hours long, but man, I am so stoked because they're changing something. So, like, what if Peggy got the serum instead of Steve in the Captain America movie? I know there's a zombie Captain America thing that they're going for. What if T'Challa was Star-Lord instead of Black Panther? Like, what is happening? It's so much stuff. What if Loki had wielded Mjolnir instead of Thor? Oh, gosh, like, there's so much, man. That might be. I know I said it before that WandaVision was my most anticipated, but honestly, What If might be my most anticipated. And apparently it's canon also. Now, canon meaning that these are all different universes, which means they're also going full multiverse on this MCU thing. I mean, obviously we had the Multiverse of Madness coming out, but if they're saying all of these are canon, all 23 of these things are canon, and the Loki show is opening up a whole nother bag of worms, they're going full alternate realities, full multiverse stuff. I am beyond stoked for that. The possibilities are endless, and it seems like they got a lot of the MCU cast to come back and do voice work, which is awesome. And then the Hawkeye show, another one where I'm like, man, I'll tell you what though, you know what Disney Plus has that Netflix doesn't, at least right now? Some of the biggest actors on the planet willing to do basically TV. I mean, I know it's like an HBO kind of show, like Game of Thrones-esque, hour-long TV, but it's basically TV. It's episodic. So you're getting Jeremy Renner in here training Kate Bishop, the new Hawkeye, which I'm not sure if they confirmed who's playing her yet, but I'm excited either way to find out. I want to see more of Hawkeye. Apparently we're going to see time of him as Ronin, which is going to be awesome. I'm ready for that. And gosh, there's just so many. I want all this stuff to come out. I don't want it to be delayed any longer. Like, Disney Plus mixed with the movies that are going to be coming out in theaters, hopefully, fingers crossed, is going to just fundamentally change the way we watch the MCU, and it's going to make it so much more expansive and fun. Like, it was already expansive and fun, but now everything that comes out is going to be directly tied to the MCU. Like Daredevil, like the Defenders and stuff, and Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, they were semi-connected to the MCU, and now they've kind of been basically looked at as they were a multiverse. They were another alternate universe. Still in the MCU, but not in the the Endgame timeline. They're in a different reality. And then you have like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I thought was in the same reality as Endgame and stuff, and they did stuff with, Age of Ultron and Winter Soldier, but then they kind of stopped doing that stuff and stopped connecting it to the MCU because, they got tired of trying to write it in, which I know is tough, where you have a show on TV trying to write around scripts of movies, and they can't contradict each other. So I think at one point they just said, screw it. So, I mean, I get it, but now it seems like everything that's going to come out is going to be tied into each other, finally. We're going to get what Star Wars kind of promised us, where Star Wars, when Disney bought Star Wars, they were like, everything that comes out is canon, but they've already had stuff that was canon that contradicts themselves, like, don't get me started, like how Poe met Rey at the end of The Last Jedi, and it was like, I'm Poe, I'm Rey, and they met for the first time, and then if you read the Force Awakens novel that came out, which was canon, the novels are canon, which they said it was. They said whatever happens in the books is canon, even if it doesn't happen in the movies. It's like it happened off screen, kind of, basically. Poe and Rey met at the end of the Force Awakens novel, so it was just non-attention to detail. And that's one thing that Marvel has always had, was attention to detail. but now they actually get to put that to work. Like, they get to flex their muscles with Disney Plus and all these other shows and the movies, and they're going to make this interlocking universe that isn't just the films. It's going to be all the shows that come out as well, and maybe they even get into the comics. Who knows? I know Kevin Feige was put in charge of, like, everything, so I don't know what that means for the comics. I can't remember if I'm missing anything show-wise. It's supposed to be coming out soon, at least. I know they're doing a Ms. Marvel show. They're definitely doing Moon Knight and She-Hulk. Those are the three that they've announced, but there's no kind of timeline for when they're supposed to come out. Ms. Marvel, I think, is going to get a big boost, at least popularity-wise, from the general public through the Avengers video game. So I'm excited about that, which I'm so excited to stream that game. When that game comes out, I will be all over it, boys and girls. Moon Knight, I've been waiting for frickin' Moon Knight to become a show forever. Oh my gosh. Like, Moon Knight is so perfect. Like, he's such a cool character. I mean, is he crazy? Does he really have the power of Conch? Like, who knows? And then we're getting our first new Hulk. We're getting She-Hulk. Now, does that open the door to, like, Red Hulk and stuff like that? Who knows? And will Bruce Banner be in the show? We'll have to see. I'm excited, though. I'm excited to have another Hulk. I'm just excited to expanding the universe. I think that was the name of the Disney Plus thing that they released. But I'm excited they're expanding the characters, going deep cuts. And they also said that these characters, like Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, they'll be in the movies too. It's going to cross-pollinate. It's going to go back and forth. Movies and then Disney Plus. And that's ridiculously exciting to me. Ridiculously exciting. Whew. All right. Well, I think I've talked your guys' ear off a lot. It felt like a pretty consistent, starting from A, ending at Z kind of podcast. Everything kind of interconnected to the next topic. So, trying to get back on into this thing, folks. I'm excited to be back. I missed it. I'm real happy that you guys tuned in. This is going to be on YouTube, obviously. If you're listening to this right now, it's on YouTube. I'm going to try to get the podcast feed back up and running very soon. Trying to figure out how to do that and not lose the other episodes of the podcast. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you go follow me on Twitch as well for some gaming. And when this actually gets onto the Apple podcast feed, you can subscribe over there. I think we got a decent amount of subscribers over there already, but that podcast feed needs to be kind of rebooted, but we'll figure that out as the coming weeks happen. But I'm excited to be back, guys. This was On Your Left, episode number 16, and the next step will be our new podcast. Still trying to figure out a name for it, so if you have any ideas, email it to me. And if you have any topics that you want me to do for the first ranking podcast, where I kind of go through a topic and it's going to have to be a topic where there's multiple things involved, where I have to rank them, and then go in depth into them. Just kind of give my 2 cents on that stuff. So if you have a topic or you have an idea for a name of the podcast, I'll give you guys credit for it. I mean, I'm going to keep thinking and brainstorm myself. But you can email us at iconiccomicmail@gmail.com if you have any ideas on that front. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, stay tuned, stay iconic, and cue music.
Holy Grail.